Now recognizes the gentleman from Boston, Mr. Capuano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hayes, you may think you just vented. Watch this. Mr. Sturgill, you say you have the power. Tell me why you won't just do it.
Because there are other things we are working on that will help alleviate the
That really, really helps me while I'm sitting there waiting for a plane that's stuck in LaGuardia. And you talk about recovery time. What about my recovery time? And the hundreds of thousands of Americans who waste hour upon hour sitting in an airport waiting for a plane that never comes. Now, I shouldn't complain because the airline I fly just fixed the whole problem. They now list the flight to Boston as an hour and 20 minutes instead of 65 minutes. I don't think Boston has moved further away from Washington than it was last week. But at least they're telling the truth a little bit more. A little bit more. But I got to tell you, Mr. Sturgill, I understand you're just the acting director, and in some degrees I'm sorry to take it out on you, but you're the guy today. And it's more directed to the FAA than to you personally, and whoever comes into your place, whoever it is, I hope they're listening. You're embarrassing all of us here. Your agency's failure to act is an embarrassment. It is hurting the American business, the American economy, the American business flyers. And your failure to act and study the issue has no reasoning to me. Why can't you take something and try it in one airport? Go to LaGuardia and say, you do one thing. Go to Atlanta and say, you do one thing. And if the airlines don't help you, look, competition's competition. You might have missed it, but the free market is not working on this issue. You are a regulatory agency as well. And if the free market doesn't work, it is your responsibility, your obligation, as far as I see it, to take some action. And to tell me to wait for 15 years, or to tell me that when we have overbooking of 20 flights an hour and you want to deal with 1 to 3, that's not an answer. And if you think that America is not angry, travel with me. I would love to have you sitting next to the plane with me. So when people come up to me and say, Congressman, why aren't you doing anything? I'd say, hey, here's the guy. Talk to him. Explain it to them. But you're studying the issue. It's not an answer. It's an excuse to kick the can down the street. Now, I'm not asking you to have the exact answer on every issue. I know it's complicated. There is nothing simple in this world that I'm aware of. But to fail to try to do anything is an abdication of your responsibilities and your duties. And I don't mean to pick out you individually, but you're the FAA today. I'm speaking to the entire FAA. And if you try something and it doesn't work, stop it and try something new. Or if you try something and the airlines come back and say, hey, we have a better idea, fine, stop what you're doing and try that. Every flying member of this public knows that what you're doing now is not working. And I'm a little embarrassed that Congress hasn't forced you to do it. But apparently the term regulation is like a swear word here in Washington. We can't say that. I'm perfectly happy to let the free market work. But when it doesn't work, we have an obligation to step in. And I got to tell you that when I'm sitting here talking about recovery time means nothing to the individual who's sitting in an airport terminal, or worse, in an airplane. And I got to tell you, Mr. Sturgill, I don't really have a question, except to beg you and your cohorts at the FAA and your successor, whoever the permanent director is going to be, the administrator, to please do something. Anything. Try it. And if it doesn't work, stop it and try something else. And if you don't have any ideas on what to do to try, ask any number of airport directors, ask any number of people at any airport, and you'll come up with a few. And if we can help you, we're happy to. You said you have the authority. We know you have the authority. The FAA reauthorization bill also has provisions in there to allow you to implement different study programs and procedures, not just study papers, around this country, and I can't encourage you any more strongly than I just did, to do something. Quit fiddling while America sits, please. Mr. Chairman, I yield back the time that I no longer have, I guess.
The chair thanks the